Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about something completely different. I live on the Space Coast of Florida. We are in Central Florida and we are on the East Coast. Um, we, Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about something completely different, space. I live on the Space Coast of Florida. So we're in Central Florida on the East Coast. And in my backyard, we have the Space Force Base. We have NASA, SpaceX, Blue Origin, and ULA. And a lot of interesting and exciting things happen here in our backyard every single day. And I want to tell you about some of the things that are happening. First of all, the Space Force is responsible for many things related to space. First of all, they're responsible for the Global Positioning System, the GPS, and they monitor and maintain military satellite communications, space-based missile warning systems, and Earth monitoring satellites. Interesting. They are also responsible for national security launches, providing services and facilities for launching military, NASA, and commercial payloads into orbit. And lastly, Space Force is responsible for ensuring the freedom of movement for friendly forces in space while preventing or denying adversaries the same freedom. So, Space Force, a branch of the Air Force, is right in my backyard. NASA is doing some really interesting things. You remember the old Apollo missions? Well, now NASA is working on the Artemis missions. Artemis 1 already happened, and that happened on November 16th of 2022. And the purpose of that mission was to get us back into space and launch a spacecraft towards the moon. And that was successful. Now, in next year, around the April timeframe of 2026, we're expecting Artemis 2 to happen. That will be the first crewed mission going that will orbit the moon. Right now, there are 4 astronauts in training in Houston to prepare for the Artemis 2 mission. They're going up on the SLS system, which is let's see, look at my notes real quick. It is the Space Launch System, which is the most powerful rocket that NASA has built to date. And on top of that rocket will be the Orion spacecraft. The 4 astronauts will be in the spacecraft. They will launch from Earth. They will orbit Earth twice, and then they'll go out to the moon, orbit the moon, and then return. That will be a 10-day mission, and that will happen approximately April of next year. Then they're going to have 3 support missions where they're going to deliver payloads to the surface of the Earth, of the moon. And then they'll have Artemis 3, which will be a crewed mission that will actually land on the moon. So we expect to have men and women on the moon in this decade or at the beginning of the next, which to me is really exciting. Ultimately, the goal of NASA is to build a space station on the moon in preparation for the next goal, which is to get us to Mars. What does SpaceX do? Well, I live close enough to SpaceX where my windows rattle almost every other day when these launches take off. So I was curious as to what exactly SpaceX is sending up into space. And they have 4 purposes for their Falcon 9 rockets and their Falcon Heavy. The Falcon 9 rocket can be used for a project called Bandwagon, which is dedicated rideshare flights to mid-inclination orbits with dozens of small microsatellites and nanosatellites for both commercial and government customers. So Bandwagon just takes these microsatellites and the nanosatellites and brings them up into space. Then there is the Falcon 9 Dragon CRS, and that's the commercial resupply services to the International Space Station. And they resupply the space stations for science and research investigations. The third purpose for the Falcon 9 rockets is the Starlink group, and that's when they dispatch batches of 28 satellites at a time to add to the Starlink mega constellation for space-based internet communication systems. And lastly, the Falcon 9 is used for geostationary communication systems, which is used for television broadcasting, global telecommunications, and internet access to provide a wide geographical area without complex tracking from ground antennas. So lots of things that SpaceX is doing, and now we know why. So they're either sending up satellites for companies and government, they're resupplying the ISS, they're sending satellites up as part of Starlink, or they're putting geostationary communication devices out for television broadcasting and global communications. So interesting stuff that's happening with SpaceX. Blue Origin is also in the neighborhood, and they're a really interesting company. Their mission is, they say, we're building a road to space for the benefit of Earth. And the Blue Origin means Earth. They envision a future where millions of people will live and work in space with a single-minded purpose to restore and sustain Earth, our Blue Origin. I think that's fascinating. It's so interesting. They have three mission objectives. They want to be able to reduce the cost of access to space. And so they too are building reusable rockets that can be used up to 25 times to get payloads from Earth up into space. They're also looking to harvest the resources of space, so bringing materials from space and finding a use for them on Earth. And lastly, they want to inspire and mobilize future generations. So they've got all sorts of educational opportunities for young people to learn about space and to participate in the great space race. I think the idea that an astronaut can go to the moon and work on the moon, and instead of coming back down to Earth to visit their families, wouldn't it be wonderful, according to Blue Origin, if those families could instead go visit them on the moon, right? And so they're looking at travel back and forth between the Earth and the moon and other places. So that's a really good company to watch, and we'll see what Blue Origin is going to do in the future. And lastly, there's United Launch Alliance, which is ULA, and they're a company that their mission says that they want to harness up the potential of space for humanity. They are dreamers inspired by possibilities not yet imagined, believers driven to broaden horizons, and doers combining technology, innovation, expertise, ingenuity, and a commitment to the extraordinary. I think that's a big ask, and I'm really interested in the things that ULA is doing. They are right now got a project in place using Atlas V rockets to launch Kuiper 3, which is a project for bringing Kuiper satellites into space for Amazon. Amazon is looking to build a low Earth orbit satellite broadcast network, and that will provide fast, reliable internet services to customers around the world. So they will be a competitor to the Starlink internet-based system. So lots of really interesting and exciting things happening with space here on the Space Coast. Tons of companies that are working to collaborate with the big three and NASA. And if you are in the Central Florida area, you should come down and visit the Kennedy Space Center, visit the launch pads from the outside, and be here perhaps for one of the days when they have a rocket launch. It's very exciting, and it's just really terrific. And if you've got children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren who are involved in the STEM, the science, technologies, engineering, and math programs and have any interest at all in space, check out all of the educational opportunities that are available, the camps that are available from all of these three, from SpaceX, from ULA, from Blue Origin. They might be able to participate and really just spark something that will say they too are going to be part of the space industry. So that's the news from Central Florida. My name is Ruby Scotland. I'm with Primerica Financial Services, and I just wanted to give you something different today. Okay, take care. Bye.